Soccer. Shit. Just bomb on point. Just bomb on point. Just bomb. And ass. Kill ass.
Oh, bomb's in the corner. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, here's how we're gonna end it. I'm gonna run in. We're gonna use ult, and that's game. You ready?
Wait, I'm not there. No.
Okay, wait.
No, I'm not ready.
Wait.
EMP charged.
Not all ults at once.
You feel better.
Okay, right through me. I'm gonna barrier. They have EMP.
Oh, behind. Oh, that was nice.
These through. Check this out. Oh, let's break it. Damn.
That was right side.
The plan is working. It's working. Get that turn. That turn's gonna kill me.
Oh my god, why?
Dude, it's that simple. Dude.
Got it.
And that's Masters for me.
And that's welcome to Masters, bro. Welcome to a fucking
shit
such
show.
a elo. Or no team pick support. Like,
And it still didn't get it. Alright, bro, GG's. Hope you win the other games. Dylan, I did it! Dylan, I did it! I did it! I did it! I did it! Dylan, I did it! I have achieved my maximum potential! I did it, Dylan. 5 DPS.
5 DPS?
Yeah, 5 DPS. Carry on, Lucio. Dude! Missed! I have something to brag on Marcus for.
What's up, Squadron? Game Max here. Here today to bring to you a different style of the climb episode compared to all our other episodes. It's more or less a tips and tricks video about getting into Masters and how I personally got my not my main account, my other account, the XX Gamer Bros account that you see in every other Unseen and Uncut video into Masters rank, as you saw in the beginning of the clip. So today's video would just be a rundown of a guide, a short guide of how to get to Masters, or my personal method that I used to get to Masters, and what things I did and how I prepared and do stuff. For those that still play Overwatch, still have the goal like me of getting into top 500 eventually one day. Now I know this is console, and whoever PC people might stumble upon this video might want to say, you know, oh, you guys play on console. Console isn't as good as PC, and it's different. And Masters on PC is like gold on. Masters on console is like gold on PC. That is one of the dumbest things I hear people say. Just because the keybinds and the inputs are completely different things doesn't mean that it's game sense wise it's not the same. I've heard Jane talk about it as well. A lot of people come in and say that because you're playing console goal isn't the same as goal on PC, when it's exactly the same account. And Cole Zero could testify of that because he has reached diamond on PC, and he has only peaked at platinum because of the our current group rating. But anyway, that's enough of us. That's enough of us and introduction. Let's get right into it. So since these type of tip videos are done to that, and I'll be referencing some that I personally used as well in the links in the description below and in the pinned comment, I'll just keep it short and sweet, and to some of the things that I personally used and the things that I did for myself to get through this. So enjoy, leave a like if you liked it, share if you think it will help one of your other friends get into Masters, and feel free to subscribe as well. So the first tip and the most important tip that I tell the other guys is don't look at your SR. Don't think about yourself. Don't think about it when it's going up, and don't think about it when it's going down. Now that tip sounds very contradicting to the whole purpose and the reason of climbing, but let me explain. When you begin to go deep into your SR, and your SR is your sole reason for playing rank, like now it's very contradicting. My sole reason for playing rank is to eventually get into top 500. I think that's everyone's sole reason of playing rank, to eventually climb and climb and climb and see that SR going up. But what I mean is when you're over stressing about your SR, that every game you lose, it takes a big dip on you mentally, and every game you win, it strokes up your ego even more and more and more. That is just a way of eventually losing more and more and more and more. Because when you're so hyped up on your SR, as soon as it begins to go down, you automatically go into that panic mode of, yeah, you just lost one game, but because it went down and you're so caring about your SR, you automatically go into a mode of, yeah, I'm going all the way down to gold. And then as soon as you begin to have that mindset and you begin to think like that, you eventually end up going down and down, and the next thing you know, after one session, you're down 150 SR, because you just go into games and you just soft throw those games and eventually just end up tanking your own SR. So don't think about your SR too much. Think more about improving every game you go into. Think about one common thing that you keep making a mistake on that you want to change. Just don't go into every game thinking about your SR as much. Now my second tip is about knowing your tilt limit. What would push you to the edge that you would eventually go into your next game soft throwing, or even go full hardcore throw, picking turbo and only putting on a turret and spawn and running around it, hammering it or whatever. No, you gotta know your limit on what pushes you to your maximum tilt. I'll be linking a video below of an old Overwatch Central interview with the coach IO Stocks. It's a 26-minute video, but it's a really good video about tilting that actually helped me get out of Plat into Diamond, because I was a tilt fest. I tilted over the easiest of things. I am a very competitive person by nature, so just being a competitive person, when things don't go my way, I completely lose it. I would soft throw my games. I'll be shattering the Rhine barrier. I'll be going headbutting. I'll just be throwing things, smashing my desk, whatever. And I'm still personally working on it, but I've gradually lessened my tilt meter down, that not much things would completely tilt me and throw me overboard. There's some things that would piss you off really high, but what you gotta do, you gotta do your best to control your tilt meter and know what tilts you. That I personally have a two game loss rule, that if I lose 2 games in a row back to back, I get off for a couple hours, or I hit up one of the other guys to go play Fortnite or whatever. That's my personal method. Everyone has a different method. Maybe you get off, maybe after like 3 games you'll reach your maximal tilt potential, or maybe you don't tilt at all, so you could continue going. But for me personally, my method was after 2 games, get off for a couple hours, go play something else, or go run around an arcade, or even after a really tough game. What I do sometimes is I just go to just release some of the anger, especially if it's a game that you popped off, you had some of your best stats, and to only go and lose it to some unforeseen circumstance, sometimes I go into not custom games. I go into the training range and I just go just run around in the training range until just to like release some of that tenseness and slight anger and tilt. Just run around with Teresa and shoot the butts. It really helps sometimes. It actually really helps. So that's my second point. Okay, so my third point, what I tell the other guys, is very self-explanatory. But what you need to do is play more. You gotta play more. Now, it sort of contradicts my last point. But my last point was towards tilting and if you're losing games. You gotta play more. You're definitely not gonna improve nor be able to climb into Masters only playing a minimum of 10 games a week. Or if you're going to school and you don't have that much time to play, you really need to put on a weekend, you need to dedicate some time into playing the game, because you're not going to get into you're not even going to climb really if you're only going to be able to play 5 games a week and you're probably only getting like a 60%, not a 60% win rate, like a 50% win rate. If you have a 50% win rate, you're definitely really, the hard truth, you're really not going to be able to climb. You need like, to me, it sounds weird, but to me you need like a 55 to above 60% win rate in order to climb. And that's, you only get that higher win rate and stuff if you put the time into playing the game and put the time into comp, into being able to rank up. So my third tip is you need to play more, because if you don't play more, then you're not going to be gaining any more SR because you aren't putting in the allocated time in order to climb. So my fourth or fifth, oh geez, I lost track already. My fourth or fifth point, I think it's my fourth point. My fourth point is stop blaming your teammates for every game that you lose. Now, there are going to be some games that you're going to lose because of a teammate, but you need to kick that habit of blaming your teammates for everything that happens in a game and blaming your teammates. You gotta stop blaming your teammates, because the more you blame your teammates, the more games you're going to lose. Because the more you blame your teammates, the less that you're going to be able to see your actual flaws. You're going to be able to see the flaws in other people and not the flaw in yourself. So you really need to stop blaming teammates. I was a victim of that when I was in Plat. I blamed my teammates for everything. I know I played straight garbage. Every shot was into the enemy Rhine barrier, sometimes even the Orisa barrier or the Zarya bubble. I was going on 1v4s into the corner trying to full kill a Mercy as Reinhardt. I used to do a bunch of madness, but even though I was doing that bunch of madness, I would see my Genji dash in to a 1v6, and then I'll just be like, Genji, you are the one who's throwing the game. You gotta play passive with us while I'm going in 1v4, chasing down a Lucio who has infinite speed, infinite wall ride, and amp going around. So what you gotta do, you gotta stop blaming the teammates, because the more you blame your teammates, the more games you're gonna lose, and the less you're gonna, and just all around, the worse you're gonna do. So our next step also has to do with teammates and is closely aligned to my previous step, and it has to do with, well, more so with team comps. The team that I remember hearing this quote, but I can't remember who it was from. I think it was either from Unit Loss, Your Overwatch Jane, or Over Central. I can't remember who it was. But it says the team that tilts at some games are already lost at the start screen, at the hero select screen, where you'll automatically see 3 DPS pop up on your 3 DPS pop up, and you'll just think, yup, this is a lost game. That is furthest from the truth. And the first team that does that is usually the team that ends up losing. If you're one of those people, high chances you lose way more games. That you actually lose the games that you're supposed to win. Because fun fact about 5 or quad DPS comps, when you're the first team to tilt, when your team goes for quad DPS, the enemy team would actually tilt harder against a quad DPS rather than the people who are on that quad DPS team lineup, because getting killed by quad DPS is one of the most embarrassing and mentally jarring and mentally painful things to go through as an Overwatch player, just because you know that it is a stupid comp. That's the major reason why. Fun fact, my last game, I don't know if you guys analyzed that game before the intro, but that game was actually that game started as a 5 DPS. 5 of the guys went DPS and I was gonna go Ryan, but I was like, I'm not losing this game since it's my last game to Masters, and I was the person that just was like, I endorsed it. I picked Lucio, and as you saw, we just went full dub mode on those guys, and we just I don't know why I'm laughing, because it was a funny game. We just destroyed them with 5 DPS. With 5 DPS, it's your goal whenever your team goes 5 DPS. Now sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it actually wouldn't work and it would actually be a tilting experience, but other times you gotta give it a chance. So what this tip is mainly about, other than me rambling, is when it's a team comp that is out of your comfort zone, instead of instantly tilting and writing that game off as a loss during the hero select screen, adapt it and just go with the flow. Especially if it's like a Tobago one trick or Symmetra one trick. Those guys most of the times know what they're doing, in a sense. Not all the time they know what they're doing, don't quote me on that, but those guys in a sense know what they're doing. They know how to go around with the character. Sometimes you just need a little bit enabling instead of you shouting at them and telling them to get off. Because fun fact of how I played, you have to play to tilt the enemy faster than your team tilts. You gotta have the enemy tilt faster than you tilt. If you tell the enemy if you could tell the enemy before your team tilts, that game is automatical win. And that takes me into my next point. You gotta play to tell the enemy. It's that simple. It's very self-explanatory. Yes, I know it's a bit of that last one was a bit of rambling, but it's self-explanatory. You gotta play to tell the enemy. I've seen this in a Reddit comment saying that it was just a random Reddit comment on one of those Reddit posts saying that after every kill, the guy said after every kill, I teabag just so that I could get a slight amount of tilt into the enemy. Because the funny thing, when you tilt your enemies, there is a more likely chance of they making a crap ton of mistakes. And like, I've even had games where I end up tilting the enemy Ryan that they just end up with triple support or triple DPS by themselves, and the person who swapped off Ryan to go play DPS can't even play the character that he picked. But so that's just the next point. Just play to tilt your enemy. Is that a nice point? It sounds very selfish in a sense. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. But yeah, play to tilt your enemy. If you gotta go for that solo shatter on that Mercy just to make sure she switches off and goes Genji to help your team win the other team fights, do it. It will all be worth it in the long run. Think of the SR that you're gonna gain, even though I said don't think about the SR. And my last and final point, have fun. Try to have the most amount of fun that you can whenever you play rank. That's my personal last tip. Just have fun. Go for the memes, go for the Reddit highlights, go for those Reddit karma farm highlights, go for fresh nut clips, go try something you saw on fresh nuts. Just have fun while you play the game. My personal major reason of having fun, an example of having fun is when the enemy Rhine is dead when you're playing Reinhardt. The enemy Rhine is dead, and you have Shatter. Instead of just going for that Shatter, go for a 180 shield turn, jump, backflip, emote, 360 Shatter. Just do a bunch of nonsense. Now, don't do so much nonsense that you end up throwing your game and looking like an idiot when doing it. That's a thin line. Make sure you don't look like an idiot, and make sure you don't lose the game while having fun. That's the difference. But just have fun. Sometimes you just gotta loosen up and just have fun. That's it. It's self-explanatory. Just have fun. Forehead. And I said that was the last tip, but I have another tip. Yep, I'm probably one of those, and I'm not gonna do another cut, so go ahead. Watch some VODs. Watch VODs and watch Overwatch League highlights. Trust me, and they would really help. And binge watch a lot of tips videos. I'll highly recommend Jane videos, and binge watch each and every single video of Kaku's one tip with every hero master guide. Even if you don't play Tob, watch it. Trust me, it would help you. Even though some of those videos are outdated, still watch it. They would help you. Or just watch all. Trust me, just watch all. Even though you're never gonna play Widow in rank because you're a main tank main, still watch it. It would help you. So yeah, that's my tips videos. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys could use those tips and reach that glorious rank that you want to reach this season. Hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We are really close to 200 subs. Actually 2 more subs. So if you could just be that joyous person to do that, I'll give you a cookie, but a virtual cookie, so it wouldn't. That cookie would have, I would sign that cookie and I would send it to you. So just enjoy your day. Don't get tilted. Have fun. Come back to this tip video if you enjoyed it. Share it with someone you think would benefit from it. And lastly, welcome to the Squadron.
Let's have get a full charge. Oh, she's on the underpass. She's on the underneath her. Right, back up. Let's back up.
She's gonna grab.
Who is me? Let's back up.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Big boy. The desperate. Good job, dude.
How do we win that? Oh,
that shot, dude. That was a 4-man.
I almost hit 20k heals playing off-healer and main healer.
I'm back in Masters now, finally.
Yo, Shadow, how much heals did you get?
13,000.
Holy crap.
I guess
this is where I was all like...
That was good.
that's
Yeah, that headshot.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Guys, GG's. Hope you won all the other games. Challenge us over Dylan. Mr. Die Force. That was a weird. That game was a weird.